A police officer walks toward your vehicle. Your phone is already recording. The officer notices. Then comes a sentence that immediately changes the encounter. Stop recording. Many drivers believe there are only two possible responses: argue or comply. But from a legal perspective, neither response tells the full story. Because the law rarely focuses on a single sentence. It focuses on everything surrounding that sentence. The first 10 seconds. Your hands, your tone, your posture, whether your phone remained visible, whether your movements appeared slow and deliberate or quick and unpredictable. Here's what most people miss. Traffic stops are not conversations. They're sequences. Every movement creates context. Every pause creates interpretation. Every instruction creates a legal question. Today, we're breaking down what courts actually analyze when an officer tells someone to stop recording. More importantly, we'll discuss the one response that experienced criminal defense attorneys often view as the safest, not because it's clever, but because it helps avoid creating additional legal issues while preserving your position. Let's begin. The core idea. One of the biggest misconceptions about traffic stops is that the outcome depends on who wins the argument. In reality, arguments rarely determine legal outcomes. Evidence does. Body cam footage, dash cam footage, radio transmissions, witness statements, and increasingly, cell phone recordings. From a legal perspective, courts examine what happened, not who spoke louder. Judges often ask questions like, what did the officer know? What did the driver do? Did either person's behavior escalate the encounter? Were commands clear? Were they reasonable under the circumstances? Most importantly, how would a reasonable officer interpret what happened in real time? That's the standard courts frequently apply. And once you understand that, the phrase, stop recording, becomes much more complicated than it first appears. Move only the first 10 seconds decide more than the next 10 minutes. Here's where experienced defense attorneys start their analysis. Not when the officer speaks, but before. As emergency lights activate, your behavior begins creating evidence. Courts often review those first seconds frame by frame. Did the driver pull over promptly? Were sudden movements visible? Were both hands visible? Did the driver continue reaching around the cabin? Did passengers begin moving? Did someone lean toward the floorboard? These observations affect officer perception. Notice the word perception, not certainty. An officer doesn't know why someone is reaching. The officer only sees movement. That's why movement often receives greater attention than words. Imagine two nearly identical traffic stops. In the first, the driver slowly parks, places both hands on the steering wheel, leaves the phone mounted on the dashboard, and waits. In the second, the driver grabs the phone, lowers it below the window line, adjusts something near the seat, then raises it again. Both drivers intend to record. But from the officer's perspective, the situations appear different. Body cam footage later captures those movements. Courts don't ask whether the driver intended harm. They ask whether the officer's safety concerns were objectively reasonable. Timing matters. Movement matters. Those first seconds frequently shape everything that follows. Move TWO recording is different from reaching. Here's what many people overlook. The legal issue is often not the recording itself. It's how the recording occurs. Suppose your phone is already mounted on the dashboard. Recording begins before the officer reaches the vehicle. Your hands remain visible. There are no sudden movements. From a behavioral perspective, this generally presents fewer concerns than repeatedly picking up, lowering, or manipulating the device during the stop.
Why?
Because officers constantly evaluate unknown risks. Every unexplained movement requires interpretation. Body cam review later captures those interpretations. Defense attorneys examine them. Prosecutors examine them. Judges examine them. The question becomes, did the driver's actions reasonably appear consistent with normal recording? Or did they create unnecessary uncertainty? This is where things change. Because officers rarely react only to the existence of a camera. They often react to movement associated with the camera. Small difference. Major legal significance. Move THREE when an officer says, "Stop recording." Now we reach the central question. The officer says, "Stop recording." Most people immediately think about rights. Experienced attorneys think about context. Was the driver still detained? Was the officer giving a lawful safety instruction? Did the officer explain the reason? Was the phone interfering with compliance? Or was the phone simply recording from a fixed position? Those details matter, because courts often analyze the totality of circumstances rather than isolated words. Here's the response many criminal defense lawyers prefer because it is calm, respectful, and avoids creating additional conflict. "Officer, I intend to comply with your lawful instructions. My phone is only recording, and I'm not interfering with your investigation." Notice what that sentence does. It doesn't argue. It doesn't insult. It doesn't make legal threats. It communicates cooperation while making clear the recording is not intended to interfere. Just as importantly, the driver continues following instructions about hands, documents, and movement. Words alone never carry the encounter. Behavior does. Move FOUR silence can be more powerful than debate. Many drivers believe they must immediately explain every legal principle they know. From a courtroom perspective, that's rarely how successful cases are won. Evidence speaks louder than debates conducted on the roadside. If an officer continues the encounter, your calm behavior becomes part of the record. Your tone becomes part of the record. Your posture becomes part of the record. Bodycam footage captures all of it. Judges often notice details viewers completely miss. Interruptions, sarcasm, aggressive gestures, rapid speech, delayed compliance. Each one contributes to the overall picture. That doesn't mean remaining silent in every situation. It means understanding that unnecessary arguments often create more evidence than they eliminate. Here's what most people miss. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's simply discipline. If you're interested in how courts analyze real police encounters, not internet myths, consider subscribing. Every week we break down real legal principles, bodycam behavior, and courtroom analysis to help viewers better understand how these encounters are evaluated. Now let's continue, because one of the biggest misunderstandings involves the difference between detention and arrest. Move FIV detention is not the same as arrest. Traffic stops are generally considered investigative detentions. That means you're temporarily not free to leave. But you're not automatically under arrest. The distinction matters. Reasonable suspicion generally supports a temporary detention. Probable cause is generally required for an arrest. Those are different legal standards. Courts carefully analyze when one becomes the other. If recording continues during a lawful detention, investigators may still examine whether the recording affected compliance. Did the driver delay producing identification? Did the driver repeatedly ignore instructions while focusing on the phone? Did recording interfere with communication? Again, the issue isn't simply the existence of a camera. It's the surrounding behavior. Move SAX how courts review bodycam footage. Imagine this encounter reaches court months later. Nobody relies only on memory. The judge watches video. Several times. The judge notices details measured in seconds. When did the officer first issue instructions? How quickly did the driver respond? Were hands visible? Was the phone mounted? Was the officer's tone calm? Was the driver's tone calm? Did either person escalate the encounter? This is why experienced lawyers repeatedly emphasize consistency. Consistent movements. Consistent compliance. Consistent tone. Those small details often become more persuasive than lengthy explanations. Because video rarely exaggerates timing. It simply shows what occurred. Conclusion. Traffic stops rarely become legally significant because of one dramatic sentence. More often, they're shaped by dozens of small decisions. The first 10 seconds. Where your hands are. How quickly you respond. Whether your movements appear calm. Whether your tone remains controlled. And yes, how recording fits into the overall encounter. If an officer says, "Stop recording," remember this. The strongest response is rarely the loudest one. It's the response that demonstrates calm, lawful cooperation while avoiding unnecessary escalation. From a legal perspective, that's the behavior courts are often able to evaluate most clearly. Because body cam footage doesn't just capture words. It captures timing, movement, tone, posture, perception. And those details frequently determine how an encounter is understood long after the traffic stop has ended. Remember this one principle. Small moments decide big outcomes. Stay informed, stay aware, and understand that knowing how courts analyze these encounters is often more valuable than winning an argument on the side of the road.